Hey everyone, welcome to Kempner Canucks. My name is RevTrev, and I'm so glad you're here because today we are going to be talking about the Vancouver Canucks and the trade deadline and how the Canucks are fixing their mistakes and who else is going to be traded. So we're going to be talking about Boeser, we're going to be talking about Soucy, we're going to be talking about Suter, and we're even going to be talking about the trade rumors of Elias Pettersson. You heard it right. That's the newest thing today. Listen, it's going to be a great show. I'm glad you're here. I'm going to hit the promo and we're going to dive right into it. Let's go. So we're going to start this video with the conversation that the Canucks are literally fixing their mistakes. Let me explain to you what I mean by that. We had these situations that were coming up, and part of it was our management thought that they could piece together this defensive core, and they really tried. They tried. For example, they tried to re-sign Zadorov got basically the same offer, went to Boston, cheaper. Taxes were cheaper there. They chose the Boston Bruins. They tried their best to bring him back. Didn't happen. Then you had Lindholm, who they offered $7 million a year, long-term contract. He took 7.75 in Boston as well. So the Canucks were left a little bit scrambling, trying to piece together. So you had Hughes Hronek on the defense. You had Soucy and Myers, and that kind of seemed like a solid core. So they added smaller pieces like Forbort, Desharnais, stuff like that, where we're like, okay, we're going to try to figure this out. That wasn't the best desire or plan. That wasn't their first overall plan A, but this was plan B, plan C, whatever it was, and it just failed. It failed miserably. And the thing about this management that I do appreciate is when they recognize that there are mistakes that they've made, players didn't pan out, they normally try to fix their mistakes. And honestly, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that we have management that wants to fix their mistakes real quick. I mean, when Kuzmenko didn't work out, they moved him. When Mikheyev was not producing, they moved him. Now, granted, some of these guys have played better in other situations, but they weren't playing great in Vancouver. And that is something that's interesting. I don't care if they go play great somewhere else. I just want, if they're not good chemistry, they're not good here, then they move them. Now, fast forward to this year, not only do we have a defensive issue, we're struggling. We have, our two centers had a rift apparently, and they couldn't get along. It's been going on for a long time, and they decided to make a move. They had just signed JT to an 8-year extension for $8 million. He had had a great season. And here we are, right? Here we are. And it's just shocking to me to see, I want to download a picture. I want to show you guys, but there's a couple things like just shocking to me that we're living in this day where, they actually move off. And I thought it was a mistake. I still think it was a mistake, but they went with the younger center in, but they try to fix their mistake, right? That's the thing about the Canucks. At least they try to fix their mistake. And today's trade, I think, was an opportunity to try to fix their mistake. So you had Miller getting moved and got Hedl and a first-round pick and Mancini that came back in return. Then they took that right after that Dallas game. Miller got traded before the Dallas game. After the Dallas game, you've got Pittsburgh, the Pittsburgh deal where we get Marcus Pettersson, and you have Drew O'Connor, and you flip the first round pick. You get rid of Desharnais, you get rid of Heinen that didn't pan out here, and here we are. Now, Desharnais has been traded again since that trade. So he's now on his third team. It's totally wild to think about that's happening in that land. It's crazy to think about how quickly they're moving people. And it is what it is. They're trying their best to fix their mistakes. So some people would say, well, the JT Miller one is a mistake. Okay. Get rid of that guy. He's toxic. He's a cancer. I look at him going, man, he's talented. He's a playoff performer. I wish we kept him. I know he's older, but you win with those kind of guys. A lot of people are saying, hey, you picked the wrong guy. Pettersson's still terrible. He's not going to. And then last game, we nitpick and say, hey, he was good here. He wasn't good here. It is what it is. But they tried to fix their mistake, right? And you got to give the management credit for that. I want to show you a picture. Look how quickly things have changed. The drama, everything that's changed. Look at this picture, okay? This is the act I did not like. I did not approve of. Cross-checking McDavid in the face. I know it wasn't intentional, but when you're cross-checking high, and it was disgusting. It was suspendable. I said that. But if you look now, Soucy's now been traded. Zadorov went somewhere else, went to Boston, and JT Miller is gone. And the Edmonton Oilers are happy as can be, right? Like, don't have to play those guys trying to play tough physical hockey. It's been incredible. And so they've been trying to fix the problems, the mistakes. The thing is, the Soucy one is interesting, and I just absolutely love this trade that happened. So Carson Soucy from the Vancouver Canucks gets traded to the New York Rangers. Soucy is still got another year of a 3.25 salary for next year. So they're not retaining any salary. I love this deal for Vancouver. I absolutely love it. And people are saying, you only got a third-round pick for Soucy. Well, he's had a terrible year. Like, I'm shocked they even got a third-round pick, and it's San Jose's third-round pick, so it's going to be basically a late second-rounder. I think this is an incredible deal for the Canucks. Shedding cap space, you have Elias Pettersson, the defenseman, who can play that spot as good or better than Carson Soucy. Literally, now if you had him for next year, what are you going to do? Like, you got to play Soucy, and it's up and down. And that's why Forbert might be on the move tomorrow as well. There's a whole bunch of people in the system that can come and play and give them the chances, right? And so tomorrow, or if you're watching this tomorrow, which is Friday, there is going to be, I think, still a couple more moves the Vancouver Canucks do. And so let's talk about these. But I think the biggest question in regards to this, and I don't think the Soucy trade changes this. The big question is, will the Canucks make the playoffs? Right now, they are 1 point behind the Calgary Flames for the last playoff spot. And a lot of people are like, well, if we trade Boeser and we trade Suter and we trade Garland or whoever it is, we're saying that we're not trying to make the playoffs. I think we're going to try to make the playoffs no matter what. Okay? You've got an injured Demko. You've got Lankinen. He's now played more games ever than he's played in his whole career in one season. He's signed the contract to go. Is Demko coming back? They said, oh, it's short term. It's not that serious. Then it's weeks go by and then it's IR, or it's just like, oh, I just don't know when he's coming back. And to be honest, I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. So that hurts our chances, right? Having a Lankinen Demko thing going on, that increases our chances. But I still think we could make the playoffs even if we don't have Demko there. That's a realistic possibility. But then if you're trading some of these other guys, are you going to make the playoffs? Now, most Canucks have had down years, okay? Quinn Hughes is the only one that him, Sherwood, and Hughes, right? So Quinn Hughes, Sherwood, Lankinen, basically are the only guys that haven't struggled. Maybe Garland. Garland's been solid. Maybe Hronek we can add into there as well. Myers is starting to turn it around, so there's another guy there, but forward group's not really great. DeBruska's been fine. As we know, he's a streaky player. That's what he is. I like having him on the team. I love having him. Joshua's been not very good for most of the year, been walking through his cancer treatments and the whole thing, and he's got a lot going on. Niels Höglander hasn't had a good year. Pius Suter's had a really good year for us, but like there's a number of players that are not living up to their contracts or not living up to anything. Like Brock Boeser, for example, just not living up to what he's making. Well, maybe he is. 6.65. Yeah, he's probably on pace to do that. But Pettersson, of course, is not even making earning a fraction of what he's been producing, right? So we know that is what it is. Okay, I'm not here to poo-poo on Pettersson. Okay, that's not what I'm here doing. I'm just stating facts. Okay. So the question is, will the Canucks make the playoffs? And tomorrow, depending on what we get in return, if we trade at all, maybe we just keep Boeser, maybe we keep Suter, maybe we keep Pettersson, maybe we keep Forsberg, and we just try to go. Well, that doesn't guarantee that we're going to make the playoffs. If we keep all those guys and still make the playoffs, the Canucks management will be under a lot of heat from the fan base, from the media, said you failed. If you can't keep Brock Boeser, you failed. Right? If you're going to keep them and then you don't end up re-signing them and you're just going to use them as your own rental. Terrible strategy if you don't make the playoffs. So what's the deal? How do you fix this problem? Well, it depends on what you get in return. So that's why, in my opinion, the Carson Soucy deal didn't really impact us. But in saying that, the big question is Brock Boeser staying or going? And the answer is literally nobody knows. Now, part of it is the Rantanen deal, right? Rantanen is now saying he's not ready to sign with the Carolina Hurricanes. He doesn't know what his future's like. So you're sitting there and you're going, you know what? Everything hinges on what happens with Rantanen. Problem is the deadline's clicking. It's like the time's ticking right now. That noon Pacific timeline, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, is on the clock right now. And a lot of teams are trying to get Rantanen, and if they can't get Rantanen, I think they're going to move to Brock Boeser. I think there's going to be something that's going to be worth it for the Canucks if they can't sign Brock tomorrow. Brock's made it known he wants to stay. He doesn't even want to think about leaving, that whole thing, but they might have to move on depending on how much it is. That term is the key. Now, I'm not telling you anything new, but we don't know if he's staying or going. Now, what can you get for Brock? Are we getting a player? Are we getting a pick? Are we getting a prospect and a pick? Are we getting a player and a pick? Like, I don't know what we're going to get. But like with some of the deals that have been going on, I think we could get a good haul. Like literally, if he has the right centerman, he is a 30 to 40 goal guy. That's just who he is. I would think that you would expect him to be scoring 35 goals a game or a year. A game. That'd be awesome. So we don't know if he's getting moved. I think it's the right move if you can't get the term, but we'll see what happens. But then we're going to find out. Like all this speculation, all these times, but I don't ever hear very many teams saying they're interested. Now, the newest one that I've been hearing is the New Jersey Devils, but they just lost Jack Hughes, which is a center. So I don't know how much that Brock helps them, but might help them not this year, but next year or the years to come. So that's an interesting place, right? But who else is interested in Brock Boeser? There's all kinds of rumors, right? So kinds of landing places. Where do I go to do this? I think. Let's see if we can get there. I don't know. I'm trying to find it for you. There was a couple places on here that kind of had expressed interest. Here it is. So, come on. It's a bunch of areas. Let's just see. So it is. Where's Brock Boeser? Like Dylan Cousins, right? It says on this. There's a 30% chance he just stays in Buffalo, 25% chance he's in Philadelphia, 20% chance he's in Vancouver or with the Blackhawks. You know, like it's just interesting stuff, right? So if I'm looking at the Brock Boeser, where is it? Where is the Brock Boeser one? I can't see it. Anyways, the New Jersey Devils are on there. There it is. So 30% he stays with the Canucks. 25% that he goes to the Red Wings, 20% he goes to the Devils, 15% he goes to the Philadelphia Flyers, and 10% that he goes to the Florida Panthers. That's interesting. That's Eklund's rumor chart right from there. So that's like, where is he going? There's not a lot of rumors out there, and there's a lot of rumors. There's not a lot of reports. There's not like, hey, this team's interested in Brock Boeser. Now, we're going to talk about Pius Suter, and then we're going to get into the Elias Pettersson conversation because I think that's wild. I absolutely think it's wild. Pius Suter, okay? $1.6 million, can play center, plays wing. He's a shutdown, or I should say he can play defensive forward on a line. He's not a liability. He can play PK real good. And that's attractive. Sounds like there's no contract negotiations going on for Pius Suter. Sounds like he's going to get between $3 and $4 million next year on the open on this summer in the open market. The Canucks don't seem to be interested in signing that, which is wild to me because it's like, why aren't you signing Pius Suter? But we went and rushed out and signed Drew O'Connor, which Pius Suter's having a better year, might be the better player, but it just looks like they're ready to move on. But Pius Suter would be a great addition to a lot of teams in regards to a playoff push. Pius Suter scored the game-winning goal last year in one of the games. Was it the Nashville game that he scored the winner in? It's just like he can produce, and for $1.6 million and maybe $3 million rate, like up to $3 million, I think that's a great deal. A lot of teams should be knocking on the door for him. And what's happening with him, I would not be shocked tomorrow. In fact, I think he's going to go. Unless the Canucks say, no, we want to keep him. And that would be great too. I would be happy if we kept him because he has the center depth. He can play on the wing, all that kind of stuff. 16 goals this year, playing really well. Maybe we trade him when his value is high. I don't know. I know I've been doing a lot of talking here, but I'm going to get in your comments in just a second. The latest ones today, and it's literally been coming out today that teams are calling for Elias Pettersson. Like, we need to just recognize that teams have started calling. It's all over social media. Whether he gets traded or not, like, I honestly think he is not going to be traded, okay? So just to be clear, I don't think he should. I would personally be excited if he gets traded, depending on what the return is. I think that Pettersson has talent. I'm just frustrated that he has not produced in 13 months. It's almost 14 months now. I'm worried that he is going to be the guy that just is what it is right now. I'm really nervous about that. And I think a lot of fans have waken up to that thing. And they're like, you got to move him now before. But it depends. I don't want to just give him away for a bag of pucks. The problem is $11.6 million and he struggles for 7 more years. That's concerning. So it's going to be interesting. Do I think the Canucks trade Pettersson tomorrow? No, I do not. Should they? Maybe. Again, just depends on determines on the return. There's going to be some deals out there. It might be worth it to do that. And I know that the fan base is divided on that. But if we think logically, we're sitting there going, it might be in the best interest of the Canucks to move Pettersson depending on what you get in return. All I know is if Pettersson gets traded tomorrow, Vancouver land is going to erupt. Good and bad. I'll tell you that right now. So that's what's happening. That you guys are watching this video. 177 people are watching this live right now, and we've got 150 comments in the live chat. It's because you want to talk about this. You want to go there. And I know whenever we talk about Pettersson, it gets heated in the chat. So I get it. But can we just be mature enough to have a conversation and just say, hey, it is what it is? You know, can we do that? You know, that would be great. That would be great. So we're just gonna have a conversation. And I'm going to look into what you guys and girls are saying. So thanks very much for being here tonight. Let's dive in to some comments. Green says that erupt is an understatement. Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. So I agree. Brandon Robertson says, I'd rather they keep Pettersson and he finds his A game again. Yeah, if he finds his A game, you do not trade him. You're 100% right. So, you'll never get equal value for Pettersson. We do not know. Probably not. You're probably right, Doug. We probably won't. But the Canucks would need another center if that happened, for sure. For sure. Lefty All Around says he wants to be traded. Did you see how hard he played last night and how good he looked? Okay, so he wants to be traded. Oh, so he's trying to play better so he gets traded out of Vancouver. Interesting. Okay, so what else are people saying? Hey, Majors in the building. I love this. Can this management find equal or better value for these pieces? Sounds like 50% chance of a total rebuild. They're not going to total rebuild this thing. That's not what I'm here. So Rantanen gets $9.25 million. Carolina only has to pay $4.5. Yeah, but he's a UFA, right, Matt? So there's lots of rumors that he wants to get $12 million, right? So, hey, and Adam Lee, thanks for being a member for 7 months. I really appreciate it. Canucks management needs to fix this team, he says, for next year. Forget the playoffs this year. I think you can do both. You can think about next year and still plan to have the playoffs, but I appreciate your comment. I appreciate your support of the channel. Okay, Zest says Pettersson needs a top winger. Imagine if PD had Rantanen. I would love that. I honestly would. If that trade happens, somehow they move Boeser and they get Rantanen in the deal, man, I think that's a great solution for Pettersson. And then he can't have any more excuses, right? It's like, I don't think there can be any more excuses anyways, but I think Pettersson alongside of Rantanen would be awesome. And I would pay Rantanen $12 million. And then I would, when Quinn Hughes gets his contract done, I'd pay him 14. I'd find a way to do that. Absolutely. Yeah, not a guarantee, but a gamble that he'd take, right? So Zess says, I want them to get a top winger for PD. We have tried the two centers thing, but we have never had a top winger alongside a top center. I mean, Boeser and Miller look good together, but I understand. Major says, I would be happy with getting rid of everyone but Hughes, Sherwood, and Garland, Myers, Hronek, but it gets so complicated. Yeah, it's true. Every move has to be done with equal or better move. I agree. Murray from New Zealand says, Trev, do you think with the cap going up, GMs are paying far too much for some players, or are players asking for too much? That's a great question. I think it's both. So there are certain guys you're like, that guy's not worth that, and they're getting paid it. You know what I mean? So like Drew O'Connor is a perfect example. I hope he pans out in Vancouver. I hope he's amazing. But right now, he's getting overpaid for his production. It just is. You know, Höglander's getting overpaid for his production. He had one good year, and it is what it is, right? So some players are asking too much, and then some GMs are like, I just need to sign him because of the potential. Like, that's why Drew O'Connor got the deal. They believe in this guy. They traded for him. They wanted to lock him up. They said, this is the kind of guy, big and fast. That's who we want. So Jay Peter says Boeser is 28, sign him to a 4-year deal. They've offered him a 5-year deal at $8 million and he rejected it. So he wants more term than that. And so I'm with you. I agree with you 100%. 8 times 4, I'd be very happy with that deal, but he's not doing that. Talks intensifying between Dallas and Carolina about Rantanen, so I doubt the Canucks will even take a shot. I don't think the Canucks are going to land Rantanen, but I'm dreaming, and I want them to do that, right? But like what Grin's saying, like DeBrusk, PD, Rantanen, that would be awesome. Joshua, Hedel, Garland, O'Connor, Ratu, Woodsy, which is Sherwood. Not a bad top 9. I agree. Really solid. PD needs a top player to play well. Unfortunately, he's being paid to raise the play around him, not the other way around. Good point. Boeser, the 3rd-round pick for Rantanen. I think you're going to have to give up more than that personally, but we'll find out. Maybe everyone tries to undercut the Carolina Hurricanes, and this week that might be a deal. I don't know. I think that's a long shot, but if that happened, I'd be pumped. I think we have to accept PD's time here is done. Doug, I've been talking about this for months. He'll get his head straight if he moved to another team. Sad but true. He might still struggle. I'm not sure. Yeah, that would be interesting trade for sure, man. But it doesn't have to be Rantanen. If Marner or another top winger is available, we should acquire them. Marner, my prediction is Marner's just going to re-sign in Toronto. I don't think Marner's getting moved tomorrow. I think Marner's getting re-signed by Toronto. They still might trade him, but at a re-sign rate. I think, doesn't he make like 10.9 right now? And then I think he's asking for 12. I would rather Rantanen in a million, like in a heartbeat over. Can you imagine if they traded Marner to Carolina for Rantanen, and then Rantanen signs a $12 million deal, and then Marner signs a $12 million deal? It'd be wild, right? Is everyone doing their trades today? Yes. Like right now, we're, I don't know how many hours away from the trade deadline. It's close, right? So Brock, Suter, and picks for Rantanen would work. Maybe, yeah, that's probably more realistic. We need a true number 1 center. We had one. We traded him. His name was JT Miller, but I understand what you're saying. I don't agree with the sentiment that PD should drag the play single-handedly. If you look at the top teams in the league, they normally have a star winger. Sure. How come Pettersson can't play with Brock Boeser? They used to be able to play together. Why can't they do it now? I'm not sure. Dan says Brock to Mini for Modano straight up. Is it Modano? Like, are you talking about Mike Modano? Or is there? I don't recognize a Modano on the team. That's not Mike Modano. I'm just joking around. I don't think Brock is going to Minnesota, but that would be incredible. Rantanen, Marner, and the Canucks have a decent shot. I think like maybe if Marner doesn't sign with Toronto and it's a free agency, then we have a shot at Marner. Yeah, his status is there is no status. It's literally, and everyone's like, trade Demko. You can't trade Demko. You can't get anything for him. Nobody wants an injury play goaltender. Remember when the 649 line was the top line? I remember that, Matt. It wasn't that long ago. 14 hours away from trade deadline. Absolutely, Coach Rob. Brock to Mini for Gaborik. Are we going old school here? I think Brock and JT was friends, but now Brock feels some type of way about PD now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, he wants to stay, but maybe it's in his best interest to go. Braden Point has Kucherov. McKinnon has Nashis. Had Rantanen. They trade him. Barkov has Kachuk. No, they don't play on the same line. They're both centers. How does Pettersson have Jake DeBrusk? Jake DeBrusk is an upgrade from last year, and he's still sucking. Let's just be honest. Like, he's struggling. Right? It's not the same level. I understand. I get it. Okay. Let me just go with you. Okay, so you want us to get a star winger. Okay, so basically it comes down to 3 guys: Rantanen, which we probably don't have a shot on Rantanen. Marner, I would be shocked if he came to Vancouver, or it's Brock Boeser. So just pay the man then. But that guy is not the guy that you're looking for. You want a Marner or Rantanen type player, and they're just really hard to obtain. So just because they need JT, Lotto, yeah, exactly, Galactic. McDavid has Draisaitl and Hyman. PD has mostly bottom 6 wingers. That's the difference in PD's play. I understand what you guys are saying. Like, I get it. Hyman, which is wild, is Hyman was good, but he became great when he came to on McDavid's line, and he played with Matthews, everyone. So 50 goals, how many of those were set up by McDavid? At least half, or if not 60, 70% of them, right? So that's the thing. McDavid makes Hyman better. Who is Pettersson making better? That's a great question. Did you hear a rumor Demko the Oilers for Skinner in the first? I did not hear that, but if Oilers were to give that up, I would entertain that. Even though I don't like Skinner. I like that first round pick. Yeah, right? Yeah, Rick. I know. Buffalo is such a bad team. They will probably take Demko. I don't think they will. Nobody's taking Demko. Has this team turned into a dumpster fire? Well, I just think it struggled. So maybe it's very, very possible. How about going for Stamkos or the other guy in Nashville? I mean, the thing about Stamkos, he makes pretty good coin. It's really, really interesting. I did hear the Oilers trade rumor for Demko. Okay. Do you guys think that's realistic? I'm not sure. Angelo, Pettersson for Dobson, Palmieri, and Pogue? I don't know who that is. Yeah, I'm all in on Dobson. I really want him to come to Vancouver. I really wanted Brock Nelson, but he got traded today. Speaking of which, guys, what do you think about that deal? This deal was pretty major for the Colorado Avalanche. Are you kidding me? Brock Nelson goes to Colorado, and they're trying to extend him. That's a massive trade, everyone. That's a massive trade. Look at the 2026 first rounder and a 2028 third rounder as well. They're conditional picks depending on what happens there. It's wild. Absolutely wild. DeBrusca's has been good overall, better than Petey. Yeah, 100%. Every star player is another player to play with. We have no other elite talent besides Petey for forwards, even though he hasn't been playing like it. It's not an excuse, just an observation. True. Yeah, he has not produced. He's been an epic fail. That's just the truth. Will he turn it around? That's the question that needs to be determined. We have over 200 people in the live stream. So glad to have everyone here. Colin says, if PD had Marner or Rantanen, I'm just tired of the excuses, honestly, but I get what you're saying, Colin, and you keep typing the same thing over and over and over. So yeah, it's just interesting. It's just interesting, right? So yeah. Yeah. But I agree with you. But remains to be seen. Those guys are hard to get. Could we gotten more from Soucy? I don't think so. I don't think so, Dreamer. I think they got the best. That's the best deal that they could. Because why would they? If they could have got a second round pick, they would have, right? So, pay Boeser. Just make it so you can trade him after 4 to 5 years. No biggie. Easier said than done, but yeah, that's an option. Doug, my grandma would play well with McCheese. Okay. Also, Tokic changes lines way too often. It's no wonder there's a little chemistry. Need to make lines and stick to them. Yeah, and I mean that's a fair comment. I'm not a coach, but we'll see. The Oilers better get a goalie, but Demko wouldn't get moved there, right? I don't think so. Who in the world wants a faulty goalie like Skinner? Well, Edmonton fans don't. Petey played with Jasper Bright and Makia Zabinajad, William Nylander, Philip Forsberg, and Lucas Raymond. They aren't good enough. I know. He had good wingers. He had good wingers, guys, for the Four Nations Cup. Still sucked. Kempe is a good player as well. I don't think the Oilers trade is realistic or good. I did hear the rumor. All the big teams are loading up. They always do. I will not root for the Canucks if they have Skinner in net. Guy is legendary L. Now we have to get Holdenstrom out of there. He's not playing with Brock Nelson. No one on Team Sweden played well at the Four Nations. They were the worst team at the tournament. No, they weren't. They weren't, were they? They actually had the same amount of points, or is that Finland that had the same amount of points as Canada? I think Sweden did, guys. Yeah, it's because, Rod, the reason why it says 70 for you is because you're on YouTube. There's 70 people watching on YouTube right now, but I also stream to X and to Facebook. So that's why there's now 212 people in here. It seems like everyone on this team is struggling except for Hughes and Garland. Joshua, Boeser, DeBrusk have all been disappointing. Yep. No, I don't think that's harsh. It's been that's just fact in my opinion, but maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong about that, Green. But if anyone is sitting there saying he's been average, it's just not true. He's been below average and he makes way too much money, so he does not earn this. But that's just my opinion. Japan for we have PD police here yet. Should the Canucks try to go after Josh Norris? I'm open to that. Jeevan, I'm totally open to that. Canucks have salary space for Norris. Maybe, yeah, I do. I think so. Yeah, he was really good last year, Major. That's just wild how it changed, right? Unsainted, I'm just tired of all this trade deadline talk. I want it to be over and see what happens. Well, in less than 14 hours, you're going to have your wish. Yeah, getting Norris, he's best friends with Quinn Hughes. That would be awesome. He would be a nice ad. I wonder what it would cost. No team wants to trade their goalie to the Oilers because if they get a proper goaltending, they are going to be. I mean, they're going to win the cup. We're going to win the cup. If Boeser stays, I think that means Benning is the owner's secret mole. That's awesome. If any goalie gets traded, it would be Shelovs or one of the AHL goalies. Yeah, I mean, we'll find out tomorrow. Let's just hope it stays that way. Yeah. Norris has worse contract than PD. Don't touch it. Okay. Norris isn't going anywhere. Ottawa is reported to be going to GM. They believe each other can get out. Yeah, maybe they can. We would still need a winger that can score for PD and with Norris. Yeah. With the cap space, I think we're going to be surprised at what the Canucks do by the deadline. Something big, I think. Green, I hope so. But Kempe is always scoring when I'm at the Kings games. The guy seems legit. He is so good. Suter, Holmstrom. I don't know. Maybe we can make a deal like that. I'm not sure. PD can move back to wing if we get Norris. That's his natural position. No, don't trade any away any picks now. They finally got a pick for every single round of the draft. Yeah, I don't want them trading away any picks, honestly. I can get behind disappointing. I think epic fails harsh. That's fine. You're entitled to that opinion. Suter to mini for Suter. Oh, that's hilarious. Brian says, get Reeves to protect soft players. I'd love Reeves. I made a video about an enforcer. I would love that. How about a 2006 pick for Zigguris? I mean, after last night's game, I don't think people want that, but it's an interesting one. Trev, do you think Tocchet needs to go? In my opinion, he is a major problem. Even though last year he won Jack Adams, he has totally lost the dressing room. I don't think he needs to go. I don't think a coach falls off the wagon in 1 year, but that's just my opinion. Maybe he has. Maybe he's lost the room. I'm not sure. I don't think he's lost the dressing room. I just think the drama, the injuries have been too great to sustain, and they're still in a playoff spot. It's actually miraculous that the Vancouver Canucks are in the spot they are right now. Funny fact, Winnipeg Jets fans are saying they wanted Tyler Myers back because of the issues with Stanley. Just a funny thing I saw today. Boeser to the Kings for Byfield. Yeah, that's definitely an option too. 2006 draft is better, I'm hearing, but all picks are good. I agree. If Tocchet goes, who is a better coach? I have no idea. Honestly, I don't think there is a better one out there right now, but there might be some great ones out there. But that's a fair question. I just think it's too early. I'd rather think about trade deadline. Like Tocchet said, players have a chance to have a strong 20-game finish and potentially playoffs, and people will forget how the season started, rewrite the narrative. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, I hope we make playoffs. That'd be awesome. I think we are in the hunt for Marchand. No, I don't think we are. And I think he goes to free agency. So if we are, we'll just go pick him up then, or try to. Gallant to coach next season. I mean, that's an option, I guess. Right now, Canucks have all their picks for the next 3 drafts. When's the last time you say that? It's been a long time, Green. Rantanen is probably getting traded to the Stars. Yep. Yeah, I saw that. Jason says, I have a feeling that Boeser will be signed. If you trade him or lose him to free agency, then who is your goal scorer? I don't know any trade targets who will have the term and not risky. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Joe Quenneville, I don't know. If Mike Sullivan becomes available, he could be the only better option. I've heard that a lot. If Canucks win tomorrow, they will be ahead of Calgary by 1. Especially since he took the Penguins to the Cup while Tocchet was the assistant. Let's scroll down here. Buffalo has the most trade targets available. They have Tuck, Cousins, Byram. Yeah, be interesting to see what they do tomorrow. I don't think you can get rid of Tocchet this year. Might still make playoffs. That's awesome. I know it might be taboo, but at this point, I think this team needs Joel Quenneville. Yeah, I don't know. Major, thank you so much for gifting a membership. That's so nice. If you guys want to support the channel, feel free on YouTube to hit the little money button or the membership button, or I think it looks like this. Where did I have it? Right here. So you go to my channel and you go to the join page, or I believe the community page. I think it's the join one. And I will talk to you about the different options that I have for membership and what the perks are for that. So thank you so much for gifting that membership. I really, really appreciate that. It's very kind of you. Let me see. Did it say who got it? What does it say? Allow gifts? No, I don't want to get gift on my channel. Oh, Sophie got it. Sophie got it. Congrats, Sophie. That's awesome. That's awesome. Trade Demko Beer Baron says people want to talk about the coaching situation. Bring Torts back. Oh, that's awesome. Also, wouldn't be surprised if we got Rackle by deadline. Not sure what the trade or for who. Just a feeling. Yeah, I've heard his name a few times. Vancouver doesn't need Joel Quenneville. I don't think so either. With Demko being injury prone, can the Canucks rely on Lankin and Shelovs? They have no choice. If you find a better goalie than Shelovs, then we'll likely go to the minors. Yep. Dell, did you have a little altercation with Grogu that caused your late start? Nope. I didn't. I just had to start later tonight. Maybe Suter and Forbert and a 2026 second round pick for yeah. That might do it. Did anyone else see how bad Joshua was last night? Totally unacceptable how many times he was stripped of the puck. Yeah, he did struggle. I did talk about that in the post-game show, but he also had a couple moments where he looked good too. He had a couple nice hits as well. So I would say he had an average night. Maybe a little below average, to be honest. Yeah, Mike Sullivan was an assistant coach here in 2013, 2014. That's for 1 year. That's a great call there, Coach Rob. Demko for a few more Sherwoods. Goalie stick, that is. Oh, damn, that's hilarious. Why the hate for Quenneville? He was a great coach. I just don't want to get rid of Tocchet. That's just where I don't hate Quenneville at all. The one night I start late, you guys are, all over me. So yeah, I mean, there is controversy around Colin or around Quenneville, right, Colin? That's just true, right? So, all right, everyone, I'm going to call it a night. I had over 220 people in here, and it's not about the numbers. It's about you being here. Thank you so much for being here, being a part of this channel. Appreciate the support. It's a great conversation to have, but the Canucks are trying to fix their mistakes. Who else is going to be traded? Well, we talked about a lot of those names. We're going to find out real quick, everyone. And then there's things like this. We haven't even talked about free agency yet that Jason brought up. Any UFAs we should pick up in July? Canuck fans aren't keen on Rantanen and Marner. Sure they are. Ekblad and Bennett are among those. I would love Bennett. Absolutely. So, yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you. And we're going to call it a night. So thanks so much.